But I do want to talk about, we have to talk. I must talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. Changes. David Bowie, let's do this thing. This offseason, let's take a look-see at what the shakeups were. They lose their OC. Bye-bye, Brian Callahan. He goes to Titans. Hello, quarterback coach. Dan Pitcher. Okay. They trade Joe Mixon to the Texans. They bring in 2023 breakout star Zach Moss from Indy. Friend of the show, Zach Moss. Loved Gardner Minshew. This next one's tough. They lose my favorite guy, nose tackle. You know, spends his time reading poetry in cafes on his days off. DJ Reader is gone. I know Coach Lou not happy about that one. They do get Sheldon Rankins. Irv Smith, Jonah Williams, Awuzie, they're gone since he landed Mike Gesicki. They welcome a Polish kid to town, Trent Brown. You know, so they got a little lift there at safety. Stealing Geno Stone, that was the big bad thing that happened right off the bat, and we loved that. And then they, of course, welcomed Von Bell with that departure. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of change. And, of course, it doesn't even include the Tee Higgins situation. You know, we'll get to that in a minute. But as for these other changes, I think the DJ Reader loss pings me the most. Not just because he's one of my favorite players and my favorite personalities, but he's such a huge part of the changing of the perception of the Bengals defense. I know I talk about this a lot, about how when he came over from Houston in 2020, and I was like, huh? But it's not just that, and it's not just because of the person he is in the locker room. With that said, if you had to lose him, and he's a huge loss, Sheldon Rankins, it makes it hurt a little bit less. It's like taking, it's the Excedrin that fixes the headache a little bit, okay? He's been a beast everywhere he's been. He anchored the middle of the Saints D-line to New York, to Houston last year. You can see him smacking Burrow around right here. He's equally awesome against the run as he is as a pass rusher. Okay, we might have to tell them that there's a show going on. There's people just coming into the studio. Thank you, Kat. Kat is on it. Birthday Kat. Birthday Kat, everybody. Let's hear a shout out for Birthday Kat, who made this. Spent all this time doing this on her birthday yesterday. Okay, let's get back to it. I do think the Sheldon thing was a really big get. As you can see, he was just taking, Joe Burrow to town there. And I bet Burrow's happy to have him on his side for once. Rankins has sacked Burrow 5 times in just 3 career meetings. That's like kryptonite kind of stuff going on. That's Superman stuff. Only Myles Garrett's gotten it more. That's impressive, right? I also love what the Bengals did at safety. They lose Jesse Bates and Von Bell last offseason, and that hit the secondary hard, and they got some vets in the room. That's going to make a big defense. Geno Stone was one of the breakout stars, let's be honest here, in 2023, racking up 7 picks for the Ravens. Getting Von Bell back, do I show the play? Let's do it. Let's show the play. The interception. This one right here. Oh, Mahomes. We know you. We love you. You're an executive producer on Netflix wide receivers. We get it. But this pick helped send the Bengals to the Super Bowl a few years ago. Beyond the plays like the one you just saw, I think there's like a nice stabilizing, leveling presence for the young secondary he'll bring. And I think Coach Lou has to love getting his guy back. Now, the T situation looms large. I've been doing some evolving thinking on this. And as I've said before, I love T. I want him in Cincy long term. I think he is a Super Bowl piece for them. And I want him to get a contract that he deserves and is truly earned, okay? But here's how I sort of look at the situation. The draft, we had Collinsworth on. I don't know if he mucked with me or whatever, but the draft is loaded at receiver. And it makes it really tough to trade for T. The wide receivers are all feeling it from this loaded draft class, okay? Do teams really want to give up a first or second for T and then pay him on top of it when they can just take a receiver for more of a value at one of those spots? If you're the Bengals, I wouldn't give up this caliber of player for anything less than that exact kind of compensation, that ballpark. Again, I hope they lock him up long term. If they don't, I don't know what the leverage for T is here. I can't see him sitting out. In fact, I'll say he won't sit out. You know, he's not going to punt on $22 million this year when he's made $9 million through his entire 4-year NFL career. It's not going to happen. So he doesn't have leverage. It's the unfair part of the franchise tag that does need to be looked at, a la Brandon Marshall on our show, being a strong advocate of that when our show started 2 years ago. Crazy. Almost 2 years ago. I hate it for T, but it's the reality of the situation. It's kind of like Justin Fields having to depart. Not fair, victim of it. very true business situation. Anything can happen, but it sort of continues to unfold past the time that everybody gets broken off in free agency. I think there's still a chance that we see T stick around for another year. I tried stirring the pot in the Justin Jefferson to Jamar Chase thing. Didn't work, didn't happen, but I do hope that the Bengals do right by him whatever way they can.
Let's talk. Let's talk about what do you feel about them Cincinnati Bengals?
What do you mean?
What do you feel about Tee Higgins? You think he's staying?
I think they're going to find a way to let him stay. I want him to get his bag. I want them to do right by him. But I think he stays this year. I think we're too far into free agency's too far gone now. I think he's going to stay. Do you? You don't think that happens in the NFL draft? You don't think they might trade him for something? Are you hearing something?
I love when you give me this face. She said, "Are you hearing something?" You always expect me to tell you what I'm hearing too.
Yeah, I always expect a little something. Just a little you always say don't quote me unless I'm right.
I'm just saying, I don't know. They got Jamar Chase, this there too that they're gonna have to pay very soon too. So I don't know. Is it possible to make?
You just ruined my whole day. Why we were getting along so well. Now you're just destroying my Bengals. Thanks to Sean Jackson. Bye.
You know what might need to happen? Joe Burrow might need to do what Tom Brady used to do back in the day. He might
take less,
readjust that contract and make room for both of his receivers. I mean, don't you see that being a?
I think Justin Jefferson needs to force a trade, go there, and then you can get rid of T. Give me the LSU reunion.
Go where?
To the Bengals. Force a trade to the Bengals. Don't sign your extension. You don't know who your quarterback is. You're the best receiver in the league. Go play with Joe Burrow. We gotta go.